Objective. After listening to this lecture, you'll be able to describe 5 components of fitness that are typically measured or assessed to determine your fitness level. Components of fitness. Did you know that acids in your stomach are strong enough to dissolve metal? Lungs contain over 300,000 million capillaries, which if they were laid end to end, would stretch about 1,500 miles. Human bone is as strong as granite in supporting weight. A block of bone the size of a matchbox can support 9 tons, 4 times as much as concrete. Each kidney contains 1 million individual filters. The focusing muscles of the eyes move around 100,000 times a day. To give your leg muscles the same workout, you would need to walk 50 miles every day. In 30 minutes, the average body gives off enough heat combined to bring a half gallon of water to boil. Nerve impulses to and from the brain travel as fast as 170 miles per hour. You get a new stomach lining every 3 to 4 days. The surface area of a human lung is equal to a tennis court. Sneezes regularly exceed 100 miles per hour. Coughs clock in at about 60 miles per hour. Feet have 500,000 sweat glands and can produce more than a pint of sweat a day. During your lifetime, you will produce enough saliva to fill 2 swimming pools. Babies are pound for pound stronger than an ox. Your nose can remember 50,000 different scents. Your eyes are always the same size from birth, but your nose and ears never stop growing. A simple, moderately severe sunburn damages the blood vessels extensively. It can take up to 1.5 years for them to return to their normal condition. Humans shed and regrow outer skin cells about every 27 days. Your body has enough iron in it to make a nail 3 inches long. I could go on and on. Everyone has this incredible machine called a body. Of all the amazing inventions in the world today, iPads, cell phones, etc., and all the amazing medical advances, no invention comes anywhere close to all that our bodies can do. The human body is truly amazing. In the lecture on defining health, I talked about the importance of considering domains of health in addition to the physical domain. But please don't get me wrong, asking you to consider other dimensions of health as being just as important as the physical dimension does not imply that the physical dimension is not important. Our physical health is incredibly important. And remember the interconnectedness of the dimensions of health. When our physical health is lacking, the other domains are affected. An important aspect of our physical health is our fitness level. So what does it mean to be physically fit? Think of someone you would consider to be physically fit. Why do you consider them to be fit? Components of fitness. There are 5 general components that we typically look at to determine fitness. Cardiorespiratory endurance. This is an incredibly important component and refers to the ability of your heart, lungs, and blood vessels to supply oxygen to muscles during physical activity. How quickly and easily do you become out of breath when you're physically active? Muscular strength. This refers to the amount of force that a muscle is capable of exerting. Are you able to carry a heavy bag of groceries? Muscular endurance. This is not the same thing as muscular strength, although they're definitely related. This refers to a muscle's ability to exert force repeatedly without fatiguing. So for how long can you carry that heavy bag of groceries? Flexibility. This refers to the measure of the range of motions at a particular joint. Body composition. This refers to your body's amount of fat tissue versus lean tissue. Percent body fat is incredibly important in determining potential health problems. So these are the 5 general components of fitness. Measuring fitness. So now the question is, how do we measure those components? There are sophisticated and very accurate methods of assessing or measuring each of these components, each of which requires special equipment. There are also easier and indirect ways that don't require special equipment and that you can do yourself. These methods are fairly accurate, some more so than others, but regardless, it's important to get your baseline. Cardiorespiratory endurance. How do we measure the ability of the heart, lungs, and blood vessels to supply oxygen to muscles during physical activity? An easy and indirect self-assessment method of your cardiorespiratory endurance is to simply walk or run 1.5 miles and note how long it takes you to reach 1.5 miles. It's okay to mix walking with running. You don't have to do one or the other. The most important thing is to take note of how long it took you to complete a mile and a half. Or another way to complete this self-assessment is you can walk or run for 12 minutes and then determine the distance you covered. Then compare your results to a chart. Or you could do the step test. Step on and off a 12-inch high box for 3 minutes. Step up with one foot and then the other foot. Step down with one foot, followed by the other foot. Try to maintain a steady 4-beat cycle. It's easy to maintain if you say up, up, down, down. Go at a steady and consistent pace. At the end of 3 minutes, remain standing while you immediately check your heart rate. Take your pulse for 1 minute. The lower your heart rate is after the test, the fitter you are. Compare your heart rates to a table. Muscular strength and endurance. Muscular strength and muscular endurance are often assessed together. Abdominal muscle strength and endurance is important for core stability and back support. The sit-up test measures the strength and endurance of the abdominals and hip flexor muscles. So you see how many sit-ups you can do in 1 minute. Lie on a carpeted or cushioned floor with your knees bent at approximately right angles, with feet flat on the ground. Your hands should be resting on your thighs. Squeeze your stomach, push your back flat, and raise high enough for your hands to slide along your thighs to touch the top of your knees. Don't pull with your neck or head, and keep your lower back on the floor. Then return to the starting position. And then you'll count the number you can do and compare your results to a table. You can also assess muscular strength in your upper body by doing push-ups. On a carpeted floor or exercise mat, do as many push-ups that you can without stopping. From the starting position, with hands roughly shoulder width apart and fingers pointing forward, lower your chest to the floor, keeping your back straight. Then return to the starting position. Men should use the standard military-style push-up position with only the hands and the toes touching the floor in the starting position. Women have the option of using the bent knee position. To do this, kneel on the floor, hands on either side of the chest, and keep your back straight. Lower the chest down towards the floor, always to the same level each time. Either tilt your elbows at right angles or until your chest touches the ground. Do as many push-ups as possible until exhaustion or until you can't go anymore. Count the total number of push-ups performed and then compare your results with the table. Flexibility. The sit and reach test is often used to assess flexibility. Remove your shoes and sit on a flat surface, legs extended in front of the body, toes pointing up and feet slightly apart with the soles of the feet against the base of the step. If there is no step, just any flat surface will do. Place the ruler on the ground between your legs or on top of the step. Place one hand on top of the other, then reach slowly forward. At the point of your greatest reach, hold for a couple of seconds and measure how far you reached. Mark or take note of your best score. See how many inches beyond the base of your foot you were able to reach. Or if you did not reach your toes, measure how far before the feet you were able to reach, which is a negative measurement score. Body composition. Body mass index, or BMI, is a measure of body fat based on height and weight. There are several places on the internet you can go to calculate your BMI. The only info you need to provide is your height in feet and inches and your weight in pounds. Waist to hip ratio is also a good measurement. There are several places on the internet you can also go to calculate this. You need to know your waist in inches and your hip measurement in inches. Please know that these two methods, although pretty good, are not completely accurate because it's possible that a person is super skinny, but they actually have a relatively high percent body fat. And you could have a person who is very muscular, but muscle weighs more than fat. So someone with a lot of muscle will have a high BMI despite having a lower percentage of body fat. So these are not super accurate, but overall for most people they're pretty good. Key points. There are 5 components of fitness: cardiorespiratory endurance, muscular strength, muscular endurance, flexibility, and body composition. And that's it.